There's not much advice or feedback I can give you for this PowerPoint. The PowerPoint is not exactly designed for teaching this kind of thing, so you're going to be depending mostly on your own handwriting with combination with a smartboard or interactive whiteboard system. However, there are a couple of things you could pay attention to when you design the presentation. So by looking at all the slides, one thing you notice is that the equation jumps around, or the problem jumps around. So let me show you what I'm talking about. By aligning the numbers and signs in certain ways, you can create an illusion of just moving the parentheses. See? First one, second one, third one. So when you move from first problem to the second, only thing that students will notice is the moving part. Not only thing, but the first thing they will notice is the moving part, which is the parentheses. If everything moves, they see everything moving, but in this case, only thing that's moving is the parentheses. So that's what your students are going to notice right away. And when you move from the second problem to the third problem, the only thing that moves is the parentheses again. Numbers and the other symbols are not moving, so this way students' eyes are naturally drawn to the parentheses that are moving. And you want your students to pay attention to what the parentheses are, so that's a pretty neat technique to implement. Your students are forced to pay attention to the parentheses this way, where the parentheses are and where they're moving. Again, there are not many techniques you can use for this kind of PowerPoint slides, but you use a color coding system, which is a really good idea. So it's no longer about a PowerPoint design anymore. The only thing you need to pay attention to is the overall balance in the text size or contrast. And I don't see any problem here. I mean, you could push it up a little bit, and you should push it up a little bit higher so that you have more space underneath it. That's the only thing you could probably do. There's nothing wrong with the transition slide or title opening slide. Okay, so the challenge quiz, the challenge problem was actually like a introduction to this lesson, I guess. It's not a bad idea because it's a new concept. They get puzzled, they get confused. Now they know what they don't understand before getting into this lesson, which is a really good idea. Knowing what you don't know in learning is really important. Implementing a step where students will discover what they don't know is a really good strategy. Okay, again, it's color coded. It's a good idea. The way you're gonna color code, actually, I think this could be a better way to use the colors in this case, because you're showing a whole lot of rules here. So you can use 6 different colors like you're using here, and you can use these colors for not for the numbers, actually for the operations like plus, minus, times, divided by parentheses. For this, I would use the orange color for this because that's how you color code it, different notations. So I will use in bold. And if you wanna, it's on smartboard, so you can circle or underline anything. But if you're not gonna do that, you could also use different color for that. So you got the idea. Multiplication sign symbol is this, so you use green for that. And if you would like to distinguish these two numbers from the others, you could use different colors like this again. Which color you want to use, it doesn't really matter as long as there's a pretty good contrast. And because you're using a smartboard, you might actually want to use those colors such as red, blue, green, and yellow, and black. Those are the colors you have for a smartboard. And addition and subtraction, wait a sec, I don't know if it's the same color. That's not right. Addition is red, subtraction is pink, so you might want to stick with that color actually. That's like a transitional slide, that's alright. And practice problems, you don't have to really color code it anymore, because they need to find out which ones they still remember, which one they've already forgot. So not color coding is a pretty good idea here for review purpose. And showing it again is a pretty good idea. I'm not gonna say it is really necessary, but this is also an idea. For a lower knowledge learner, coloring the actual symbols is definitely going to be a plus. But for those who are more advanced, making connections out of nothing is better. It is like a constructivist approach. So by creating on your own, you can learn better. That's constructivist approach. And using the smart board and using a blackout screen to cover up steps that we haven't done yet, that's a pretty good idea. You can ask, so what's next, and students can answer. Then you can do the actual operation. So it's pretty good idea. Okay, let's look at the second one. Same idea. This is gonna work out pretty well. These colors gonna be a little confusing because it's orange and the orange is here too. So I would rather use a different color. The colors that are not used in these, but not too big of a deal. So overall, it's good, and it's gonna be a pretty good, I would say it's like a good preliminary lesson to getting into smartboard lessons. The PowerPoint's not really optimized for a smartboard, so next week you'll be learning how to use smartboard, and you see that you can do these things much better with smartboard. So try a couple of techniques I showed you. That's not too difficult, but it's not also too easy. But I think it's a nice technique to implement.